Did you realize that you're the main character in your story? Yeah, and this is not to be confused with like narcissism or being self centered. It's actually quite the opposite. When you realize that you write the script for your own reality and your own story, then you'll also realize that everyone around you is a supporting actor or a supporting character in your story. So before you get triggered and think that I'm talking about narcissism, realize how different and actually opposite this is from narcissism, whatever. So think about what it means to be a narcissist. That would mean that not only does the person think they're the main character in their story, that narcissist probably thinks, it's hard for me to empathize with it, but probably thinks that everybody else is a supporting actor in all of their stories too. So basically, they think they're the main character in everybody's story. But that's just not the case. Everybody's writing their own script. And this is actually really empowering because when you start to think of yourself as the main character, it can shift your focus to be inward and how you want to feel, who you want to be, how you want to show up. And what happens is, I mean, at least for me, I find more ways to outwardly contribute and see, how I can bring up all the supporting characters in my story at the same time. So we're all symbiotic and positively working together in a sense. So I know I'm writing my own script, but why in the world would I want to give any of the supporting characters or actors in my story a bad role, or a negative role? That would just be silly. So this ties into other things I talk about, like being impeccable with your word and only creating what you consciously want to create. And that takes a lot of programming on a subconscious level, or can. Some people are closer than others, and it's not a comparison thing. So being the main character just means you realize that you're not a supporting actor. You might be in other people's story, but you're not in your own story. And if you're getting so caught up in what other people think, or maybe what other people see or their perspective, just remember that they can only see from their script and what they've got included in their script. You know what I mean? So ultimately, you're a supporting actor in their story. And why would a supporting actor ever give that much attention, to another character? And then realizing that you're the main character in your story, like they're a supporting actor. So why in the world would the main character give all their energy away to what would be considered a supporting actor in their story? So, somebody says something or somebody feels something and you get triggered or caught up about it, then you're ultimately giving supporting characters and actors too much of a role in your script. And there's a way to shift that and become inwardly focused and outwardly contributing. And so ultimately, this is the opposite of being self-centered. It's actually realizing that we're all together, and that even if you were to look forward, like look all the way past your death day, right? So you're in your spirit review, let's say, and you're looking at your life. It's like a movie theater, let's pretend, and you're in there watching the movie, and it looks like a different story. And it's because you're watching your true self's story and their script play out. And even that is different from the personality self or the avatar that was developed from all of the beliefs from birth and childhood and other things. So, and then on that example, let's say you walk into another theater and you sit down next to your mother-in-law, and she's watching her story play out on the screen, and you maybe don't even show up, or if you do, you show up as a very small supporting character, supporting actor in her story. And if you were to fast forward to that, it could help you realize that all of these other stories playing out are not as important and won't be. Like even after death, like you're going to look back on like the one that mattered most was the one that your authentic self was writing and living out. That's the story that matters. And you were the main character in that all along, the whole time. So I hope this helps somebody. Like if you can shift from being a supporting actor in your own script to the main character, see how that plays out in your life. Because for me, it's played out beautifully. I've been able to recognize everybody else as their own main characters, and I've tried to interfere less or not at all with the script that they're writing and the story that they want to play out, especially with my kids, because I don't want them ever looking back and being like, my dad wrote my script. My dad, pushed me too hard in this direction, or um, buried me in his beliefs in this. No, I like to let them be themselves and write their own script. And I recognize that I'm a supporting actor in their story. And this is actually really empowering. And it's been a wonderful way to realize the oneness and the connectivity between all of us. And knowing that, just because you're a supporting character in other people's story doesn't mean you're not the main actor. You're not the main character, because you are in yours. Just remember which script matters most. You know what I mean? Namaste.